Yeah, absolutely. And I guess kind of on that thread then, when you're putting together, maybe a content plan or social media posts or anything like that, any outbound communications, what's the kind of process that you go through in developing that plan and then putting it out there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We're a really small team, so we have a very ad hoc way of doing things. It's usually just me WhatsApping like various colleagues, being like, "What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Is this okay to say?" Or vice versa. But we have like a really thorough document with lines from Runnymede that we've said, things previously on. So those are kind of on all topics, whether that's like pieces of legislation or we've still got lines from what we said when the racism happened right after the Euros, or things like Harry and Meghan, like all various topics, and we kind of use those, and when they go into that document they've already been vetted and discussed by our team. So I usually build what we say off of those, and then we obviously develop them as things develop or as we need to say something new or respond to something. But it's a very collaborative approach to make sure that we're all inputting and agreeing on what we want to be saying on a particular issue, and then we tend to stick very strongly to our messaging after we've gone through that process.
Yeah, fantastic. And then I guess, like you mentioned, a lot of that content is very much kind of using the talking points that are kind of in the news at the moment, current affairs and so on. In terms of like promotion of that content, promotion of your social media presence, what sort of process do you go through? Have you got kind of a key target audience in mind when you put things out there? Do you use kind of like paid advertising, anything like that?
We don't use any paid advertising. It's something that we've considered for events and stuff like that. So we have actually got a really big summit that's going to be coming up in September, and we're kind of thinking now about how we can promote that and whether paid advertising is something that we want to use. But actually we find that our content travels really organically when it's something that people want to know about. So actually what I found is that it's always a case of quality over quantity, and we actually don't post necessarily that much. It's not like, oh, we do a post at this time and this time and this time, regardless of the platform, but it's about what we're saying, and that's what will really travel. So we do obviously tailor what we're saying based on the platform. Twitter is our biggest social media platform, and it has our audience there is more kind of policymakers, journalists, academics, people who are a bit more established and probably know quite a lot about either race or the political landscape, or both. And then we've got this kind of new audience, I think since 2020, mainly on Instagram and on, I think Instagram would be our main one for that, which is this I think younger audience of people that just genuinely want to know about race, want to know the facts, want to know what we say on certain issues. So we promote content, as and when it seems the right thing to do. We don't actually really have a strategy for that. And what we tend to do is, especially at the moment, we're trying to be less reactive. I was looking back on last year at the Lines document I just mentioned, and I was like, oh my God, last year, like every week almost, or at least every month, there was a big thing that happened with race. And things like Harry and Meghan, like that was like years ago, that was last year, the Euros, the cricket, so many different conversations within that. And it's just like, it's always kind of at the forefront of what people are talking about, and often painted in quite negative lights. So what we're trying to do is just promote what we say and what our kind of strategic organizational points are, whether that's promoting work that we're doing or, doing like targeted and specific responses to legislation that's going on, rather than kind of getting sucked into these kind of culture warring narratives. That it's not really in our interest they're not going to be constructive, right?